Miami police are investigating an incident involving boxer Floyd Mayweather. Police tell CBS 4 they're investigating an incident where a high-profile celebrity was at the Siebold building.
In a world where fame, fortune, and controversy often collide, few names resonate as loudly as Floyd "Money" Mayweather. Known for his unparalleled dominance in the boxing ring and an unrelenting appetite for luxury, Mayweather has built an empire. That seems untouchable, or so it appears. But behind the glitz and glamour lies a web of financial intrigue, questionable claims, and now, a shocking twist involving his own family. Recently uncovered footage showing members of the Mayweather family being sentenced for tax evasion has gone viral, sending shockwaves across social media platforms. This isn't just another scandal. This is a story that peels back layers of deception, exposes vulnerabilities, and raises questions about what truly lies beneath the surface of one of sports' most celebrated figures. Buckle up, because you're about to dive deep into a saga filled with drama, disbelief, and jaw-dropping revelations. The drama surrounding Floyd Mayweather took a bizarre turn when he boldly claimed on Instagram that he had acquired 62 apartment buildings, a statement that immediately raised eyebrows. To anyone familiar with real estate dealings or even basic property transactions, such a monumental purchase would require extensive documentation, legal filings, and public records. Yet despite Mayweather's insistence, investigative reports by outlets like Business Insider found no evidence supporting his claim. Property record. Revealed nothing to suggest that Mayweather owned anything close to 62 apartment buildings, let alone a single one. The absence of concrete proof only fueled skepticism further, especially after rapper 50 Cent chimed in with biting satire. Posting memes and videos mocking the assertion, the Cent capitalized on the absurdity of the situation, amplifying doubts among fans and critics alike. "If I had 62 buildings," 50 joked online, "I'd make sure everyone knew exactly where they were." His sarcastic commentary not only highlighted the lack of credibility in Mayweather's proclamation, but also underscored how easy it is for misinformation to spread unchecked when egos are involved. For many observers, the entire episode felt less like a legitimate business achievement and more like another attempt by Mayweather to maintain his larger-than-life persona, a move that might have worked if not for glaring inconsistencies and public scrutiny. The dust settled on Mayweather's dubious real estate announcement. Attention turned to the glaring absence of any tangible proof backing his claims. Despite numerous posts boasting of his newfound status as a property magnate, there was no corresponding documentation to validate these assertions. It became increasingly clear that Mayweather's declaration lacked substance, leading to widespread speculation about its authenticity. Reports began circulating, suggesting that Mayweather may have misunderstood ownership.
Sometimes, hey, when people get, it ain't about me training or anything like that. People get money, man. Things change.
Details, possibly mistaking possession of unit number 62 for ownership of 62 separate buildings. This theory gained traction due largely to Mayweather's well-documented struggles with reading comprehension, which some believe could explain the mix-up. Critics pointed out that such confusion wouldn't be surprising given his past difficulties interpreting written materials. As this narrative unfolded, it painted a picture of someone eager to project success, but perhaps lacking the necessary understanding to fully grasp the implications of their statements. The irony wasn't lost on those who recalled similar incidents where oversights led to inflated self-promotion. In essence, what started as a bold declaration quickly morphed into yet another example of how misunderstandings can spiral into full-blown controversies, particularly under the relentless gaze of public scrutiny. Mayweather's penchant for showcasing wealth has long been a cornerstone of his public persona, yet recent developments cast doubt on the stability of his financial image. While he continues to flaunt opulent lifestyles through social media and high-profile appearances, underlying issues paint a different picture. Reports indicate ongoing financial instability marked by unpaid taxes and mounting lawsuits. Notably, Logan Paul accused Mayweather of withholding $5 million from their highly publicized exhibition match, adding another layer of complexity to Mayweather's fiscal narrative. Furthermore, past and
I'm gonna be honest with you. We had, at one time, we was coming up, we have never had argument in our life, me and him. Then we had an argument on what was the name of it? HBO.
Infractions with the Securities and Exchange Commission, SEC, reveal failures to disclose paid cryptocurrency promotions, highlighting a pattern of questionable financial practices. These instances collectively challenge the perception of Mayweather as financially invincible, instead portraying him as someone grappling with significant monetary challenges amidst his lavish displays of affluence. Beyond the glitz and glamour of Mayweather's public persona lies a labyrinth of financial woes and legal entanglements that paint a starkly different picture. Central to these troubles is an outstanding tax debt of $22.2 million from 2015, a figure that underscores the depth of his fiscal mismanagement. Despite his proclaimed earnings and extravagant lifestyle, Mayweather has requested installment payments to settle this substantial amount, citing illiquidity, a claim that starkly contrasts with his outward displays of wealth. This dichotomy between perceived prosperity and actual financial health becomes even more pronounced when considering his penchant for extravagant spending sprees during events like the Super Bowl. Weekend, high-stakes gambling further complicates matters, suggesting a pattern of reckless expenditure that exacerbates his precarious financial state. Each facet of Mayweather's financial landscape, from unpaid taxes to mounting debts, contributes to a narrative far removed from the invincible image he projects, revealing instead a man in...
What lessons do you think Pacquiao and Mayweather could learn from you in terms of life away from the ring?
Well, Floyd seems to be going through some stuff like me right now, you know, like realizing no one's his friend and everybody's probably, even though I even hate to say it, because maybe everybody's kind of a little jealous of him, you know, because he is Floyd Mayweather. I know these other guys got their money, but this guy is the champ of the world. You know, it's hard to...
Snared in a web of fiscal imprudence and legal scrutiny. The latest chapter in Mayweather's tumultuous saga involves newly surfaced footage capturing members of his family being sentenced for tax evasion, a revelation that has sent shockwaves through both social media and traditional news outlets. This video, which quickly went viral, shows court proceedings where Mayweather's relatives face consequences for failing to meet their tax obligations. The emotional weight of the moment is palpable as family members stand before the judge, visibly shaken by the gravity of their situation. Social media users have reacted with a mix of disbelief and fascination, sharing clips and comments at lightning speed. Platforms like Twitter and Instagram are abuzz with discussions, memes, and analyses dissecting every angle of the case. Express sympathy for Mayweather, acknowledging the personal toll such public exposure must take on him. Others see this development as further evidence of systemic issues within his inner circle, questioning how deeply rooted these problems might be. Regardless of perspective, one thing remains clear: this incident not only adds another layer of complexity to Mayweather's already convoluted narrative, but also serves as a stark reminder of the pervasive reach of legal accountability, even for those closely tied to celebrity figures. The unfolding drama surrounding Floyd Mayweather and his family offers a sobering glimpse into the intersection of fame, finance, and accountability. What initially appeared to be yet another exaggerated boast about wealth has spiraled into a multifaceted expose of financial mismanagement, legal entanglements, and familial strife. Mayweather's claim of owning 62 apartment buildings, once dismissed as mere hyperbole, now stands as a microcosm of broader issues plaguing his financial reputation. The lack of documentation, coupled with allegations of misunderstanding and past SEC violations, paints a troubling portrait of someone struggling to reconcile public perception with private reality. Meanwhile, the viral footage of his family's sentencing for tax evasion adds an emotional dimension to the story, underscoring the human cost behind headlines and hashtags. Collectively, these events highlight the precarious balance celebrities must strike between projecting success and managing genuine fiscal responsibilities. They also serve as a cautionary tale about the perils of living beyond one's means and the inevitable reckoning that follows unchecked extravagance. As this saga continues to unfold, it leaves us pondering deeper questions about transparency, integrity, and the true measure of success in today's hyper-connected world. In a world where fame and fortune often blur the lines between reality and illusion, few figures embody this duality as profoundly as Floyd "Money" Mayweather, known for his larger-than-life persona, jaw-dropping wealth, and
We're different people. I like, what are you talking about? Why did you gotta get involved? He can say it. Why are you involved? All right, listen, as I'm saying, we're different people. So Floyd
an unrelenting appetite for luxury. Mayweather has always been a magnet for intrigue, but nothing could have prepared us for what happened when authorities recently entered his sprawling mansion under mysterious circumstances. What they found inside left everyone speechless. Shocking. Revelations that peeled back the curtain on the enigmatic life of one of boxing's greatest legends. From hidden secrets to jaw-dropping extravagance, this story is not just about a house. It's about uncovering the untold truths behind the man who calls it home. Brace yourself. This is a tale you won't soon forget. The recent raid on Floyd Mayweather's opulent Las Vegas estate sent shockwaves through both the media and public spheres, revealing details that many had only speculated about in hushed tones. Authorities were initially tipped off by anonymous sources alleging suspicious activities within the property, prompting a thorough investigation. Upon entering the premises, officers discovered an array of items that painted a complex picture of Mayweather's lifestyle. Among these were countless luxury vehicles parked in various garages, each more extravagant than the last, ranging from custom-made Ferraris to gold-plated SUVs. Commentators noted how such collections are typical of Mayweather's penchant for flaunting wealth, yet the sheer volume seemed excessive even by his standards. One observer remarked, "It's like stepping into a museum of excess." Beyond the fleet of cars,
appreciate pretty good over time. Second, this is just one of those trophy properties. Like, this is the type of house that you buy to have in your portfolio just because it makes you feel good and it gives you kind of something to brag about. And last, I don't really know anything about fashion, obviously, but Floyd wears a lot of fancy clothes. Some of those clothes are probably Versace clothes. So I'm thinking he's probably just genuinely a fan of Versace, which is yet another reason why he wants to own the home that Versace used to live in. I'm honestly a little bit exhausted just talking about all this. I can't imagine how Floyd feels actually spending all this money. His last and most recent deal is he put $100 million into a $3 billion joint venture with a company called Go Partners. The long story short here is that Floyd put up this money to actually buy a piece of a luxury rental portfolio. And oddly enough, there are some connections to these stories because this Go Partners group
investigators uncovered rooms filled with high-end fashion pieces, rare watches, and stacks of cash stored in safes throughout the mansion. These findings fueled discussions about Mayweather's financial habits, especially given his history of tax issues and unpaid debts. Critics pointed out that while these displays of affluence might seem impressive, they also highlight potential mismanagement of resources. A financial analyst commented, "For someone facing millions in taxes, hoarding cash instead of addressing obligations raises questions about priorities." This sentiment resonated with those familiar with Mayweather's past controversies, suggesting that his focus remains fixed on image over substance. Adding another layer of intrigue were personal artifacts scattered across the residence, including memorabilia from his illustrious boxing career, trophies, belts, and framed photographs adorned walls and shelves, serving as constant reminders of his achievements. However, some argued that these accolades now feel overshadowed by the surrounding chaos. As one fan expressed online, his trophies used to represent hard work and dedication. Now they sit amid signs of turmoil, almost mocking his current situation. Such observations underscored the dichotomy between Mayweather's celebrated past and his present predicaments. Perhaps most surprising was the discovery of several advanced security systems installed throughout the property. Cameras, biometric scanners, and panic rooms hinted
a guy like him. The question is, why would he, or anybody for that matter, be interested in buying all of these affordable housing units all at once? Well, for one, some of this portfolio is reported to offer a tax exemption due to the fact that the majority of the units are designated as affordable housing. For two, Mayweather shared that this deal holds some emotional significance for him and his family. He did grow up with a family of 7 crammed into a 1-bedroom apartment in New Jersey. So I suppose the idea of owning a bunch of affordable housing units in New York is one way for Floyd to feel like he's kind of giving back to the community. If I had to guess, Floyd probably put up somewhere around $100 million of his own cash into this deal, which means he financed the remaining $300 million. With where interest rates are at nowadays, though, I'm thinking he's probably only making like 10% on his money at best, which means that he's going to be bringing somewhere in the neighborhood of $10 million.
At a level of paranoia unexpected from someone living in such apparent safety. Analysts suggested that these measures reflect not only a desire for privacy, but also a deep-seated fear of external threats. Mayweather himself later addressed these installations in a social media post stating, "You can never be too careful in this world. I've worked hard for everything I own, and I intend to protect it at all costs." While understandable, this explanation did little to quell speculation about possible underlying anxieties or specific dangers he perceives lurking outside his fortified gates. Overall, the contents of Mayweather's home revealed much more than mere possessions. They illuminated facets of his personality, priorities, and perhaps even vulnerabilities. Each item told a story, contributing to a mosaic of contradictions that define the man behind the legend. Whether viewed as symbols of success or cautionary tales of excess, these discoveries offered unprecedented insight into the private world of Floyd Mayweather, challenging perceptions and sparking endless debate among observers worldwide. As investigators combed through Floyd Mayweather's palatial estate, they unearthed evidence that painted an increasingly complicated portrait of his financial standing. The presence of multiple safes stocked with large sums of cash immediately raised eyebrows, particularly given Mayweather's well-documented struggles with unpaid taxes and mounting legal disputes.
And running, and it's just going straight up. Interest and penalties. As we speak, another day just passed, another interest penalty. And I don't get Floyd because he's so out there with it, as you say, on Instagram. So it's not like he's trying to hide his opulence. He is throwing it out for all to see with all those cars and all the it's outrageous, and he's earned it, and he did it the right way and the hard way. You know, he beat the system. So I give it to him. But how can a man that smart be this? This is outrageously wrongly dumb to challenge these people.
Skip, you can't win. I tell you what, you remember they could not get the gangster in Chicago, Al Capone. They couldn't get him for all those murders. They couldn't get him for all that embezzling. What did they get him on, Skip?
Tax evasion.
Skip, they know what you made. And even if you say, well,
financial experts quickly weighed in, noting that stashing substantial amounts of money in physical form rather than utilizing traditional banking systems suggests a deliberate attempt to evade scrutiny. One economist remarked, holding on to cash like this isn't just unusual, it's highly impractical, especially for someone of Mayweather's stature. It implies either distrust in financial institutions or a strategy to circumvent transparency. This revelation added fuel to ongoing debates about Mayweather's fiscal responsibility, reinforcing suspicions that his outward displays of wealth mask deeper instability. Further complicating matters were documents found during the search, detailing numerous outstanding debts and unresolved legal claims against Mayweather. These papers included correspondence related to his $22.2 million tax debt from 2015, which remains largely unpaid despite repeated requests for installment payments. Additionally, investigators uncovered records indicating ongoing disputes with creditors and business partners, casting doubt on Mayweather's ability or willingness to settle his obligations. Legal analysts pointed out that such documentation contradicts his public assertions of financial solvency, suggesting instead a precarious balancing act between maintaining appearances and managing actual liabilities. When you look at the totality of these findings, explained a legal expert, it becomes clear that Mayweather's financial situation is far more precarious.
Right out of your hand.
hey, Skip, they might be leading us both in the ring.
They might.
Like, get him,
here we
Floyd,
are.
'cause I need to get paid.
This is incomprehensible to me, and I fell out of my chair yesterday when I first read this story or heard about this story. In fact, a friend tipped me off and said, you got to read this. But this man made around $230 million in 2015, and this man is, you won't hear me say a discouraging word about Floyd when it comes to IQ, smartness, his ability to make and handle money.
Yes.
But he's just flaunting, as you said, he's flaunting his opulence. He's also flaunting basically his middle finger at the IRS. You cannot do this.
No.
You will lose. This is one foe you can't outrun or outdance or outsmart or play defense on. You just can't get away with it. You can try for a while, but the clock is just, that meter is just running and running.
Precarious than he lets on. He's essentially juggling multiple crises while trying to project an image of invincibility. Mayweather's reaction to these discoveries further illuminated the tension between his public persona and private realities. In a series of Instagram posts, he dismissed criticisms as baseless attacks orchestrated by jealous detractors. Oh, they want to paint me as some kind of villain because I'm successful, he wrote. But let me tell you something, being rich ain't easy. You gotta play smart, stay ahead of the game. While such statements aim to deflect attention away from the mounting evidence, they inadvertently highlighted the disconnect between perception and reality. Many followers interpreted his defensiveness as acknowledgement of underlying issues, speculating that his reluctance to address them openly stems from a fear of damaging his carefully cultivated brand. As one commentator observed, Floyd's responses read like damage control rather than genuine explanations. If he truly believed he had nothing to hide, he'd welcome transparency instead of doubling down on denial. This discrepancy between public bravado and private vulnerability extends beyond mere financial concerns, touching upon broader themes of trust and accountability. Mayweather's insistence on portraying himself as financially untouchable clashes sharply with the tangible proof of fiscal mismanagement uncovered within his home. Observers noted that this contradiction mirrors patterns
beat on an NFT project or I'm not getting paid. What about that aura? Dior, Fendi, Prada, like which one of those things made you feel like, yo, he's gonna write the check? The dude
fucking contract.
Nah, he don't give a shit about that
legal
shit.
contract.
He don't care about that
You don't
shit.
care.
He got
That's
Fendi to buy.
news to me.
He got to go shopping.
So, question: what happens now? Do you guys get more than what you were supposed to get? Because that's kind of cool.
Less. That's the worst.
You get
part.
less?
Yeah.
Tell you who makes it out of this with a W.
Your lawyers.
Yeah.
And guess what?
The legal system
he owns
is
30% of their company.
the legal system's tough.
Yeah.
seen in other high-profile cases involving celebrities embroiled in similar controversies. What we're witnessing here is classic cognitive dissonance, suggested a psychologist specializing in celebrity behavior. Mayweather wants to believe he's in control, but the facts tell a different story. His refusal to reconcile these conflicting narratives speaks volumes about his psychological state. Such insights provide valuable context for understanding why individuals like Mayweather might cling to illusions of prosperity even when faced with undeniable evidence to the contrary. Ultimately, the contents of Mayweather's mansion serve as a microcosm of his broader financial narrative, one characterized by ostentatious displays of wealth juxtaposed against simmering instability, each safe filled with cash, each document detailing unpaid debts, and each defensive statement issued on social media contributes to a tapestry of contradictions that challenge conventional notions of success. Whether viewed as symptoms of calculated risk-taking or signs of impending collapse, these elements collectively underscore the fragility of even the most seemingly impenetrable facades. For Mayweather, the task of reconciling his public image with his private realities looms large, raising critical questions about the sustainability of his current trajectory and the long-term implications for his legacy. The revelations emerging from Floyd Mayweather's estate extend far beyond mere objects and documents.
This is, I actually find nothing wrong with that. It's smart. And so with this particular lawsuit, he had an investor pay $1.4 million in total for this section, and the investor was promised that the seats would sell at I think a 7 to 8x multiple, and he expected a return on his investment, and sure enough, he didn't get his initial investment back. He's strung along. He gets like $100K here and there, strung along, not getting paid. Now his investment allegedly is being rolled into Floyd's alleged fight with Manny Pacquiao, and so the investor's being strung along on this thing, and eventually, like us, it's like, yo, we're simply not getting paid in full. Like, we've been fucking dragged along for way too long now, and this guy finally filed a lawsuit against Floyd Mayweather. So that's the one that's actually active and pending, and then here we are.
There's another one pending too.
Another one?
Yeah.
For the cash deal?
They delve into the very essence of identity, perception, and societal expectations placed upon public figures. At first glance, the luxurious trappings scattered throughout his mansion, rare watches, designer clothing, and gleaming sports cars might appear as nothing more than symbols of success. Yet when viewed through the lens of cultural commentary, these items take on new meaning, reflecting deeper societal values and pressures. Observers have long debated whether Mayweather's penchant for extravagance stems from personal indulgence or a calculated effort to meet the insatiable demands of modern celebrity culture. Asn't sociologists noted, in today's hyper-connected world, visibility equals validation. Celebrities like Mayweather aren't just selling products, they're selling lifestyles, and sometimes that means sacrificing authenticity for approval. This perspective sheds light on why individuals in the public eye might prioritize material displays over genuine self-expression, perpetuating cycles of consumption that ultimately reinforce societal norms around wealth and status. Moreover, the stark contrast between Mayweather's curated exterior and the internal fissures exposed during the raid invites reflection on the concept of performative identity. Public figures often craft personas designed to resonate with audiences, projecting images of invincibility and perfection. However, when cracks begin to show, as evidenced by the financial,
no different from the we're gonna go into the Floyd Mayweather mine. So when the Europeans came to the Native Americans, well, they like to call them Native Americans, but the Indians' land, we don't call them European Americans. So I don't want to be called an African American. I'm an American. You know what I'm saying? You can call me a Black American, but I'm an American.
So if America,
you know, when I went
irregularities and legal entanglements uncovered in Mayweather's home, the facade risks crumbling, leaving behind a void filled with questions about authenticity. Cultural critics argue that this phenomenon isn't unique to Mayweather, but rather emblematic of a wider trend affecting celebrities across industries. We live in an era where people expect their idols to be infallible, explained a media analyst, but when reality intrudes, it forces us to confront uncomfortable truths, not just about them, but about ourselves and the unrealistic standards we impose. Thus, Mayweather's predicament serves as a mirror reflecting broader societal anxieties about vulnerability, failure, and the human condition. Adding another layer of complexity is the role of race and socioeconomic background in shaping perceptions of wealth and achievement. As a Black athlete who rose from humble beginnings to become one of the richest athletes in history, Mayweather occupies a unique position within America's racial and economic landscape. His journey from poverty to prosperity embodies the American dream, yet it also subjects him to heightened scrutiny and stereotyping. Some commentators suggest that Mayweather's ostentatious displays of wealth may function as both a celebration of his accomplishments and a defense mechanism against systemic biases. There's a fine line between pride and protection, remarked a scholar specializing in African American studies. For someone
got to stop. You want to get Conor McGregor in the ring for an exhibition match, all right, that's fine. You know, Conor sold that. It was great marketing. He's not a boxer, but hey, he was a knockout artist in the UFC. I get it. John Gotti III, I don't know anything about him. I'm not trying to disrespect him. And yes, I'm being smart. I'm not trying to disrespect the grandson of a mobster. Fair enough. But what I'm trying to say is this.
Like Mayweather, showcasing wealth might not just be about ego, it could also be about asserting dignity in a society that historically devalues Black success. This interpretation reframes his actions as part of a larger narrative about resilience and resistance, challenging simplistic critiques that reduce his behavior to mere vanity. Simultaneously, the controversy surrounding Mayweather's finances prompts discussions about the ethics of wealth accumulation and distribution, in a time marked by growing income inequality and calls for greater corporate accountability. His alleged evasion of taxes and accumulation of debt raise ethical questions about privilege and responsibility. Activists point out that while Mayweather enjoys unparalleled riches, millions struggle to make ends meet, a disparity exacerbated by policies favoring the wealthy. It's not enough to amass wealth, argued a community organizer. True leadership involves using resources to uplift others and hoard them for oneself. By highlighting these inequities, Mayweather's case underscores the urgent need for conversations about fairness, equity, and the moral obligations of those occupying positions of power. Now, Lee? The saga unfolding within Mayweather's mansion offers fertile ground for exploring themes of isolation and connection. Despite his immense wealth and global recognition, reports suggest that Mayweather lives a largely solitary existence surrounded by opulence yet seeming.
Floyd Money Mayweather retired from boxing 50-0. That individual that he was fighting right there is the grandson of the late infamous mobster John Gotti. I am not aware of John Gotti III having any real kind of boxing background. I did not see the fight, although I heard he lost every round and Floyd Money Mayweather was
seemingly disconnected from meaningful relationships. Psychologists emphasize that isolation can exacerbate feelings of insecurity and paranoia, potentially explaining his reliance on elaborate security measures and reluctance to engage openly with critics. Humans are wired for connection, stated a mental health professional. When you isolate yourself, even amidst abundance, you risk losing touch with what truly matters: community, empathy, and shared humanity. This observation adds nuance to interpretations of Mayweather's behavior, framing it less as arrogance and more as a symptom of deeper emotional struggles stemming from fame's isolating nature. In sum, the discoveries within Floyd Mayweather's home transcend individual quirks or isolated incidents. They encapsulate broader dialogues about identity, culture, and morality in contemporary society. Through the lens of these revelations, we glimpse not only the intricacies of Mayweather's character, but also the collective aspirations, fears, and contradictions defining our times. Whether viewed as cautionary tales or catalysts for change, these insights compel us to reevaluate how we perceive success, value authenticity, and navigate the complexities of living in an age defined by spectacle and scrutiny. As the dust settles on the revelations from Floyd Mayweather's estate, one cannot help but reflect on the broader implications of this saga, which transcends the
so hence the property isn't yours, so hence you announcing that you bought 62 units for $400 million is a lie. Mayweather and his team would chalk up him quote-unquote lying to miscommunication when he meant that he purchased 62 units for $400 million with all his money. He just meant, hey bro, I didn't have no partners in my minority stake. Bro, you told us you bought the buildings and you own it. This is cap, and you ain't spent $400 million for it. This is cap. You are an ambassador for the company and you got a small share. And in exchange, bro, if you come up with $400 million, you can buy it from us, bro. Mayweather arch nemesis Curtis 50 Cent Jackson will take to his Instagram to clown Mayweather for being caught up in this lie. 50 Cent would take to his Instagram and he would say, damn champ, they caught you capping. Ha ha ha. Time for another exhibition. So Mayweather does do like exhibitions in like China for like $5 million. So which
finds of celebrity gossip and delves into timeless themes of ambition, hubris, and redemption. Mayweather's story is not merely a chronicle of financial missteps or controversial choices. It is a parable of the human condition, offering lessons that resonate far beyond the glittering facade of his mansion. The interplay between his meticulously crafted public persona and the turbulent realities uncovered within his home highlights the universal struggle to reconcile appearance with authenticity, a battle waged daily by individuals across all walks of life. Whether consciously or subconsciously, Mayweather's journey underscores the perils of prioritizing image over integrity, reminding us that true greatness is built not on fleeting accolades, but on enduring principles. At its core, Mayweather's predicament serves as a cautionary tale about the seductive allure of wealth and the dangers of unchecked ambition. His rise from modest beginnings to becoming one of the most recognizable names in sports stands as a testament to the transformative power of determination and skill. Yet, the same drive that propelled him to unparalleled heights appears to have blinded him to the importance of balance and humility. As one philosopher once said, success without wisdom is like a ship without a rudder. Mayweather's relentless pursuit of material success seems to have steered him into treacherous waters where the absence of
Mayweather is rich already. But Mayweather, I guess, is obsessed with coming across as if he has like never-ending wealth. Billions, when he probably isn't a billionaire yet. Mayweather probably has 100 million. I wouldn't be surprised if I found that out. Mayweather is pretty rich. Now, there are reports he exaggerated his, his income and checks from various fights, But this is just out of pocket, bro. To think that you could finesse the business world, homie, where they actually know what they're doing is sickening. Now, Mayweather will respond back on Instagram to get it exposed, and this is what he had to say. Mayweather will cry and scream racism, okay? So Mayweather will say, it's unfortunate how quick they are to doubt you are when you're not supposed to win in their eyes. They expect athletes to go broke and not build portfolios. They expect flash, not financial literacy. While I'm rewriting the script with my own money, my own mind, and my own moves. If that threatens you, that says more.
Introspection and accountability threatens to capsize the legacy he so painstakingly constructed. This tension between achievement and fulfillment, aspiration and contentment, echoes a fundamental truth. No amount of external validation can substitute for inner peace. Furthermore, Mayweather's saga illuminates the corrosive effects of hubris on even the most formidable of reputations. Once hailed as the epitome of discipline and excellence, his name now carries undertones of controversy and skepticism. The fighter who once commanded universal respect now finds himself navigating a labyrinth of public distrust, grappling with accusations of greed, recklessness, and misplaced priorities. This erosion of trust is not unique to Mayweather. It reflects a recurring pattern observed in countless stories of fallen icons throughout history. When individuals allow themselves to be consumed by their own mythology, they risk alienating those who once admired them. As one historian noted, legends are fragile things. They require constant nurturing through actions that align with the values they claim to represent. Mayweather's inability or unwillingness to heed this lesson has left his once sterling reputation tarnished, serving as a sobering reminder that no one is immune to the consequences of poor judgment. Yet amid the wreckage of shattered illusions lies an opportunity for redemption, a chance to rewrite the narrative and reclaim.
Has a website, right? And the website goes to his new company called Vada Properties. This is just inspiration and motivation for the people who are interested in real estate. Just showing you a little glimpse of my portfolio. Go to vadaproperties.com for more updates. And the company who actually owns the units, they actually gave Mayweather company, Vada Properties, they gave him this award that means nothing, all right? This is straight fraudulent. The award says the $402 million purchase of the Morningside portfolio, 62 multifamily buildings in Manhattan. Buyer, Vada. Seller, Black Spruce Management.
Claim the qualities that once defined him. Redemption, however, demands more than apologies or half-hearted attempts at damage control. It requires a genuine commitment to change, a willingness to confront one's flaws head-on, and a steadfast dedication to rebuilding trust. For Mayweather, this means moving beyond defensive posturing and embracing transparency. It means acknowledging the validity of criticisms leveled against him and taking concrete steps to address the root causes of his troubles. Whether he chooses to embark on this path remains uncertain, but the choice itself carries profound significance, not just for his personal trajectory, but also for the message it sends to future generations. Will he emerge from this ordeal as a cautionary figure, remembered primarily for his excesses and missteps? Or will he rise above the noise, demonstrating that even the mightiest can fall and find their way back? Looking ahead, Mayweather's decisions will undoubtedly shape the contours of his legacy, influencing how he is perceived decades after his final fight. The stakes could not be higher, for legacies are not static entities. They evolve with every action, every word, every moment of grace or grievance. As one cultural critic observed, a legacy is not something you leave behind, it's something you live every day. Mayweather's current chapter presents him with a rare opportunity to redefine what his name will mean to posterity.
What you think it is? They said there's no evidence there's been a sale of these properties, and it's 62 rental apartment buildings in Upper Manhattan. Here is what Floyd Mayweather had said at the time on a video that he posted on his Instagram.
I love bringing people into my lifestyle, showing people how I live. Now, I know you guys see me on the regular talking about real estate. Well, lately, I purchased 62 apartment buildings in New York City. And what I need you guys to do, slide over and check out the photos. It's not all 62 buildings, it's a few buildings, but guess what? All the buildings belong to me. I don't have no partners.
Yo, it's Big Ant, the spokesman, man. We back. Another edition of Urban Politicians TV. UPTV. Make sure you stay on your pivot at all times, man. Had to come tap in, and I had to bring it inside the crib real quick into the streaming.
Will it symbolize brilliance marred by folly or resilience forged in adversity? The answer depends not on what he says, but on what he does next. Ultimately, Mayweather's story compels us to confront uncomfortable truths about ourselves and the societies we inhabit. It challenges us to examine our own relationship with success, wealth, and fame, urging us to consider whether we too have fallen prey to the same traps that ensnared him. Do we measure worth by possessions or purpose? Do we chase validation from others or seek fulfillment within? These are questions that transcend the specifics of Mayweather's situation, inviting us to reflect on the kind of lives we wish to lead and the kind of world we hope to build. In doing so, his saga becomes more than a tale of triumph and tribulation. It becomes a mirror reflecting our collective hopes, fears, and aspirations. And now, dear reader, the final chapter of this exploration rests in your hands. If you found this deep, dive into Floyd Mayweather's tumultuous journey compelling, I urge you to join our community of curious minds by subscribing to my YouTube channel. There, you'll gain access to exclusive content, thought-provoking analyses, and breaking updates on stories just like this one. Together, let's continue unraveling the untold narratives shaping our world today. Hit that subscribe button now. You won't want to miss what comes next.